I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
It's me. Hold on. Okay, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of The Boom. My name is Metal Mike, and I'm joined here with Mr. Phil Met. Phil, Cam is off tonight. He's taking some time to himself, so it is me and you talking some AEW Dynamite tonight. How are you doing on this wonderful, but very hot and muggy and mild and sweaty and nasty and disgusting fucking Wednesday night?
Yeah. Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
It's so disgusting out today.
Bad. It's so bad.
Man.
Oh my god. I was. Look, here's the thing. You guys know, if anything, like
What's
you
up,
guys
Donna?
kind of know
What's up,
my
Natalie?
schedule over the course of the last couple of weeks. What's going on, people in chat? How you feeling tonight? Mike, you know as well as basically anybody else when it comes down to my work schedule, I'm normally off on Wednesdays, so it's kind of just, a chill day for me. Again, boo-hoo me, but this time I wasn't. I was at work, and I was suffering because of the heat and everything like that. But the thing is, because of everything that's happening this weekend and me going to SummerSlam and everything like that, I decided to go to work today and actually do a shift because of me missing a day or whatever. I might as well just pick up the extra shift and get some money out of it. So that's why I went to work today. It was freaking hot. It was freaking disgusting out. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Happy birthday to your mama.
Happy birthday to Natalia's mama. Happy birthday, Natalia's mama.
And
what's up, Cam? What's up, Tommy?
Cam, Tommy. So at the end of the day, it was just freaking hot, humid, disgusting out, but I was ready to come home after work and just talk pro wrestling. Tonight's Dynamite wasn't necessarily bad by any means, but I was really only looking forward to one thing, and it didn't even main event the show tonight. So we'll talk about it, and we'll get into everything. But how are you feeling tonight, my man?
I mean, I had awful work today, but I had some personal stuff to take care of.
Right.
I mean, I told you about it off screen here. I'm not going to put my business out on here, but I had some personal stuff to take care of. So I did have off today. Other than that, I would have worked today, and today would have been a nasty day to be out in the heat because I work directly outside.
Yeah.
So, I kind of dodged that bullet, but there is tomorrow. So, but we are live here on the Boom Wednesday night talking Dynamite. Natalia in the chat, Cam in the chat, Don in the chat, Tommy in the chat. We got a lot of people in the chat tonight. We appreciate you guys stopping by, checking out the Boom here on a Wednesday night as we talk about AEW Dynamite, and them pretty much finishing up their. I think they still have like another week left in Chicago. So yeah, I believe so.
This Thursday for Collision, and then. Actually, no. I think it's just one more show. I think it's
the Collision show tomorrow night. Yeah,
and then next week we're back to, I believe they're going to be in Cleveland next week. So, or somewhere in Ohio.
So
yeah, they're back.
My first question as we start the show off tonight is Phil, how have you been liking these residencies? Because I'll say this, they are doing a Philadelphia residency at the end of August, going into September.
Yes.
They're going to be there for about 2 weeks at the ECW Arena, the 2300 building. And I'll say this, I'm excited for it. Have I debated about going to at least one? Listen, Philly is about an hour and 20-minute drive for me to get to the 2300 building.
Right.
So for me to go to more than, let's say, 2 shows would be kind of expensive for my pockets right now. Now,
Right.
could I afford to go to at least one show? Yeah, I could, because it would just be one trip out to Philly, see the show, come home.
Have you ever
But
been in the 2300?
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I was there for it was the TNA New Japan pay-per-view back in August of 2023 when they
Oh,
did their
nice. Okay.
yeah, it was really cool. It was a really cool event. It was
Yeah.
awesome to see, New Japan and TNA working together. It was right around the time TNA was starting to get the height of things going again. We just started seeing Joe Hendry kind of getting that
Get that rise. Yeah.
upcoming. Yeah,
Yeah.
Alex Shelley was the world champion.
Right.
So it was actually really, really cool to see. And to go into that building for the first time in my life, I was like, man, like I got to check out every square inch that I can of this building, because this is a historic building. It's a building
legendary building.
I
Yeah.
always wanted to go into. And I'll say this, if you have the opportunity to go in and check out the mural that's inside crazy enough, it's in the men's bathroom, but you can go in and check out the mural that's there. It is super cool just to see the signatures of guys like the Dudley Boys, Rob Van Dam, Tommy Dreamer,
Yeah.
Sandman, Mikey Whipwreck, like all those guys. Just the legends.
That's truly the ECW building to me. Like, I understand that a lot of people, take the Hammerstein Ballroom and they truly hold that in like a safe place for their heart for ECW and all that
Yes.
sense. But to me, the 2300 is like it's like, for me and like my time of professional wrestling and like the fandom of it all, the 2300 is like the epicenter to me for ECW.
Yeah.
So it's a I've been to the outside of the ECW arena. I've never actually been inside the venue itself. And the one thing when it comes down to this next residency that AEW is doing with the 2300 is that, like, at least one show. I'm gonna try to do at least one show for this residency, just to see, and just to be a part of the overall atmosphere and the experience of being inside the 2300. So I mean, I'll decide whenever
I will say
cross that bridge. But
I will say this: I'm kind of curious on how they are going to set things up inside there, because you look at the place they've been at in Chicago. That's a ballroom. The Hammerstein Ballroom. It's almost similar to what the Hammerstein looks like. Okay, they have similarities, but they look a little different. But it's a ballroom. It's big
and it looks
spacious.
Great.
Looks great on TV with the amount of fans that are there. Yes. The 2300 building is a totally different monster. It is smaller. Think of a turned up, like think of this. Think if Bingo had a league and the league traveled, and you can fit roughly 4,000 people in there, and that's pushing it.
Yeah.
You're not fitting. If they fit the big screen stage in there, I will be highly surprised that they got that in there, because the 2300 building is nothing like these ballrooms that they've been in. Nothing. It is a turned up bingo hall. That's what this is. That looks nice. The air conditioning doesn't work, so it's hot as shit in there. It sure is. I will say that right now, with the hype that building has been getting for the past couple years, with all these different wrestling organizations coming through, coming back, Ring of Honor being there, MLW, GCW, all NXT these big
doing stuff,
NXT doing shows. Yes, fix the fucking air conditioning. Like, when do you say uncle and fucking fix the air conditioning?
Enough is enough.
Like, seriously. I mean, they might have. I mean, it's been 2 years since I've been in that building, so they may have fixed it. They may have. Yeah. But when I was there, dude, my shirt was soaked. Like, and I was just sitting there watching the show.
Right.
I wasn't going nuts, nothing. My shirt was just like, it was like from this, and then it was just this. And I'm like, oh my God.
Drenched. Yeah.
Like, my shirt was weighed down.
Yeah, but to answer your overall question about residencies in AEW and how they and how I feel about them, I love it. I love that they do this. And it's not just because of the overall feel and the atmosphere of it all. because I truly do believe that, like, with every single residency that AEW has done over the course of the years that they have been doing them,
Mhm.
the atmosphere for the venue and everything, for as long as they're there, it continues to build. Each and every single time the fans get to go back into that venue and just really get to see the show live in living color. But in overall, an aspect of it all, it's just a good thing for AEW, not just money wise, just to save up a little bit of cash, but I just like the overall aspect of, going to a city wherever you may be, whether it's a huge market in the world of professional wrestling or not so large of a market, but you still have a little bit of a presence there, and you're allowing people from
What's up, Fletch?
wherever you are to just watch the show and get to see things from a different perspective, and staying there for about a week and a half, two at most, is something that you can really kind of appreciate and enjoy as a pro wrestling fan, and I hope
Yeah.
they continue doing them.
I mean, the other thing they don't have to worry about either is a fan going in there and snapping pictures and saying, "Look at this, half the arena's empty," because
Yeah.
they're packing the house.
Yeah.
The crowd looks great, sounds great. Every week, the house is packed. People are probably, at most part, you hear about buildings being sold out, people being turned away. That's a good thing, So, hey, these residencies, and I'll say this, moving forward, if they continue doing this, they're gonna get themselves back up to the point where when they do big arenas and they do stadiums, tickets are going to sell. Why? Because they will be a hot ticket. Because during these residencies, if you can't get in because you're being turned away because the building's sold out that night, then you see that a big event's coming. Okay, now I'm guaranteed to get a ticket because instead of 3,000 people, they're going to be able to pack 30,000 people, or in an arena, 15,000 people. So I have a better opportunity to get a ticket, and it's a bigger event. So
Yeah.
AEW, in this case, with these residencies, are doing a great thing. But when it comes to the product that they're putting out, can somewhat be a different story.
Yeah.
And the first thing we are going to talk about, and I literally went on social media. Yes, Phil, I put out content on a social media platform that resolved around pro wrestling, something I don't do, right?
Yeah.
Why was the World Championship
not
in the
main
middle
event?
of the fucking show? Why was this thing not the main event?
I'd love to answer that for you and give you like a legit, honest answer, but
give your thoughts.
Do not know.
Give your thoughts on the match as well. Like, as you give your answer on this, give your thoughts on this match as well, as Hangman Adam Page did retain the AEW World Title.
First of all, you can clearly see that at the end of the day, as long as Hangman Adam Page retained the championship, that's all that mattered to people. In my eyes, when it just came down to it. But the thing is, with how AEW has had a legit stranglehold on this world championship and Jon Moxley, the only people cared about in this match was that Hangman Adam Page would retain.
Yeah.
But the overall feel of this match, and I showed you this last week saying, oh my god, what the heck, we're doing a world title match next week on the show, and you're like, at least we could be seeing something to look forward to next week.
Yeah.
The match was fine. Like, the match was honestly solid for the time that it got and everything.
It got some decent time. It got about 25 minutes.
Yeah, and I expect something like that for, a world title match, but they did not realistically stick to... okay, they weren't technically at ringside, but there was stuff going on around the arena.
You've seen it coming.
Yeah, like you seen the Death Riders coming, you seen Darby Allin coming around. It happens, especially with the Death Riders still not being completely dead from AEW's existence. So I knew that was going to be a factor. You can clearly tell that Hangman Adam Page is just still trying to find, other than MJF, like that legit first real challenger after Moxley is all said and done. Because I feel like, I know that this is just it was a normal match. Technically, it wasn't like the death match that we saw at All In, but this to me just has to be the freaking end of it all because I don't want to see Moxley and Hangman anymore. I don't. And
like I said, the only way I want to see them in a blow-off match, and that's the thing, is tonight, I guess, was supposed to be the blow-off match. Right?
Yeah.
And I said this last week. I said this 2 weeks ago. I said if All In was not their blow-off, if we were getting another match, they can't go any further. The only furthest they can probably go is an exploding barbed wire death match done the right way. Yes.
Right. Yeah.
But instead, we get this, anything goes, but everybody is banned from ringside. The moment they said everybody is banned from ringside, I was like, the referee's getting knocked out, and we are going to see the Death Riders.
People are coming out. Yeah.
That's that.
Yeah.
You pretty much
you expect that anyway from a John Moxley match.
Yeah. And it's almost like you gave that dead giveaway of like, okay, we're going to see the Death Riders. And then, but Darby Allin with that big spot coming off the balcony, was it cool? Yeah. Was it necessary? No.
Not necessarily, but the thing is, like, I saw that immediately and went, all right, well, the obviously next thing for John Moxley is going to be Darby Allin. Darby Allin and John Moxley is going to be the next path for, I know Forbidden Door is this upcoming pay-per-view at the end of August, but, I mean, you can literally, you can go through the motions of this and do blood and guts with this. I don't know what the heck really is the plan for all of it, but at the end of the day, Darby and Mox is the plan. And then they're really eyeing Mark Briscoe.
They are.
The world title.
Oddly enough, they are.
The thing is, like, I'm not mad at that decision if we're going to be just getting Hangman and Mark Briscoe for the AEW world title, because honestly, you and I have been very much high on Mark and been wanting a better position for him on these shows. And him getting a world title shot, that's a huge spot for him. And him getting against Hangman Adam Page is great. But if we're just putting in there just to lose, I mean, I get it. It's a first challenger. You know, you get everything out of the way, and you still got MJF in the back burner. But there's something more for Mark other than just losing at a world title shot.
I mean, that surprised me when MJF goes backstage after the match and Hangman's doing the interview. You know, when he mentioned Mark Briscoe's name, I was like, hold up. Like, he just mentioned that Mark Briscoe is ahead of MJF for a shot at the World Championship. I love it. I love that Mark Briscoe is now being considered by the champion in that position.
Right.
But it's almost like now act on it. You know what I mean? Like, don't just name drop him and get Mark Briscoe fans hype, like anticipation up that he's getting a world title match. Give him a world title match. Does he have to win? No, he doesn't need to win.
No, that's right. Yeah.
But give the man a shot. Give him a shot at the world title. He's a former Ring of Honor world champion. His first singles championship.
He is credible enough to be going for a world title.
He is. And a lot of people would disagree with that. They would. But we're not sitting here saying the man needs to win the fucking thing.
Yeah.
You know, he just give him a shot. Give him a match. You know, so, I mean...
Let him show what he can do so that he can go after other titles that are better fit for him in terms of, like, where you can see the ceiling for him after that. Because, I mean, sure, the only place that you can go from a world title match is down, but that doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing for Mark Briscoe.
No. It doesn't. And even giving him a world title match, it could be a boost for him. Even with the loss, could be a boost for him. Because just think of what that could do for him. If he gets a world title match against Hangman Adam Page, or even if he gets a world title match against, let's say, MJF. Say MJF in 6 months wins the world title, right? And he's still feuding with Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe earns himself a shot. Gives Mark Briscoe a match. Mark Briscoe doesn't need to win, but it can put him in the realm of possibility of going after a championship like the TNT title, the unified title. You know, something that's not a tag team championship, which he has not gone after since his brother passed.
Yeah.
You know, he's been the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Champion. So could he be in the realm of possibilities of going for other championships after getting a shot at the world title? Maybe. But it's all about the response that he would get to after the match. You know, so we'll have to see. But speaking of Mark Briscoe, speaking of MJF, there was an interview backstage with Mark Briscoe, and he's still very focused on MJF.
Yeah,
still very focused on MJF. They seem to be going MJF, as we know since last week, is having a lot of problems with the Hurt Syndicate, so much that they kicked him out. He is done with the Hurt Syndicate. So how do you feel about MJF sporadically being kicked out of the Hurt Syndicate and now back to being on his own? And if we get Forbidden Door, possibly MJF and Mark Briscoe, is that a match that you'd be looking forward to?
I mean, we're getting the match next week.
Was it made at the end of the show? Because I turned it off after like literally 10 minutes before the show ended. I turned it off. I'm not gonna lie to you. So if that match was made, then
it's
you know,
made next week.
Okay.
The thing is, like, after Mark Briscoe defeated Ricochet, he tried to call out MJF. MJF got on the Titantron. He said, "Hey, you know, look, you actually thought I was going to show up here tonight and actually face you face to face? No." And then all of a sudden he turned around and he got kicked right in the balls by MJF. So, the match is made official for next week. I'm fine with it happening on an episode of Dynamite and not on a pay-per-view. It's not that I necessarily will want to see it at Forbidden Door, but I mean, even though the Forbidden Door concept is just completely dead at this point, we've kind of run its course with it.
They
something more for
that. Forbidden Door was supposed to be one of those like one-off pay-per-views that involved every wrestling company, or at least New Japan, and then they decided to make it a full-blown pay-per-view for every year. Just like Money in the Bank, just like, you know, Elimination Chamber was supposed to be one of those one-off matches every once in a while, and then they turned it into its own pay-per-view.
You can do a yearly tradition of it, but actually make it seem important. They haven't really made it seem important ever since the first one, in my eyes. But it'll be fine.
Cam said that he would keep him away from any title that would build some. Keep him away from titles until you build something he can connect with or care for. Briscoe and MJF isn't a pay-per-view match unless there's some type of stipulation
or something,
and it's a dead concept. And he said that the pay-per-view is a dead concept except for Zack Sabre Jr.
Well, I love Zack, but I mean, you know, at least something at stake would have to be on the line with MJF and Mark Briscoe for it to be on the pay-per-view for me. But the fact we're getting it next week, it should be fine for what it is. But I am glad that MJF is on his own. I am, because he should be.
I mean, there was all, like, we talked about it for months of what is the Hurt Syndicate going to do to do something to get MJF out of the group, because obviously he didn't fit. Like, you look at him perception-wise, just did not fit in the group. It was just an oddball pairing to start with. Was it working for a little bit? Yeah, it was working for the most part, but it was like, when is this team going to turn on MJF? When are they just going to beat the shit out of this guy and tell him he's out? We didn't get the ass kicking that he was threatened with, but he got kicked out. He got the thumbs down, so he's gone. It's better than nothing.
Now I'll
nothing.
say this: if we're getting Bobby Lashley versus MJF at Forbidden Door, it's a different kind of station. I personally would have done it at, but I mean it's, you know, it's something. Yeah. I felt like that was going to be the match for God knows how many months now. I mean, I said it right here on the show that I thought Bobby Lashley and MJF would be the end goal of it, but it happening at Forbidden Door, it's an interesting choice.
Maybe it is. Maybe Forbidden Door is the end goal, because MJF still wants to have that discussion with MVP.
Yeah.
So we're going to get the discussion with MVP, and then we're probably going to get the match at Forbidden Door.
Yeah. It's at the end of August, so they got a couple of weeks to build this.
They got a whole month. Yeah. They got a whole month. You know, so.
So, I mean, it's, you know, it's something.
They got a whole month. Yeah. They got a whole month. You know, so. 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 Bobby Lashley, and then what? Well, I mean, he holds that contract for the world title. So, I mean, the world title, pretty much.
Yeah.
He'll cash in that contract on Hangman and go, go after the world title. And if he wins it, then he'll probably have a little feud with Hangman until that's done, and then move forward. That's the thing is when you look at AEW lately, and I'll say this, and this could be a very good thing, that AEW sometimes can be predictable, but sometimes not be predictable. And right now we could sit here saying, okay, MJF and Bobby Lashley at Forbidden Door, but then what? But then what's next? That's a good thing that we're asking that question, because we don't need to ultimately know what's next. Just let's see what happens. Let's get that element of surprise. Yeah, and that's the thing is that it's not a lost art in pro wrestling, but for a small sense it is. Like that element of surprise, like we get it, but it's very few far and between that we get the element of surprise.
Yeah. The thing is, with me, I've always hated the term just let things play out at times when it comes down to just, some professional wrestling fans just wanting that instant gratification. But when it comes down to AEW, and kind of in periods like this where we got out of All Out or All In, and, we're going through Forbidden Door, we're going through the motions of everything, you kind of just have to. You kind of just have to let things play out and see where AEW is trying to take us on whatever kind of roller coaster ride they're taking us on, because now that everything's kind of like reset in a sense because of everything that happened with the world title picture, and now we're just kind of in the beginning stages of getting things back in motion again after a 9-month reign with Jon Moxley. I kind of just have to, pump the brakes a little bit, stop being so over analytical, and just allow myself to say, all right, this is where we're going. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard for pro wrestling fans to do that, and I get that, especially for any type of, product that you watch, WWE, AEW, TNA, New Japan even. It's hard to, stop being so over analytical, but it's pretty much instead of wanting to be in the know and being in the how, just watch. Sit back and
watch and enjoy. That's it.
See what happens.
And as far as MJF, after Mark Briscoe, after Bobby Lashley, we're going to see what happens next. That's up to AEW, and we don't need to
feel like he should be in the world title scene, and he definitely should be in there for sure.
But with that contract, he automatically is in the world title scene.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So with that contract, he's there. We just got to see where the payoff is.
Yeah. I mean, and yeah, Cam, just want good pro wrestling and enjoy. That's that. Good matches, good storylines. I mean, that's the thing is with pro wrestling. I'm going to say this, and then we're going to move on to the next thing.
Yep.
Is, like you said, with the whole like instant gratification, finding out things, knowing things so quickly, all that stuff. Sometimes we do get bad shows and bad matches. Sometimes we get good bad shows and bad matches in spurts of like 3 or a month. There was a month where we came on here and was like, tonight sucked, for almost a month straight. So it's like sometimes we get that because they're either in a lull or because in our eyes as fans and our opinion, the show just was not that good. So it's like if they could put together good matches and at least a decent show and make it somewhat enjoyable, then awesome. Other than that, all the other stuff, it doesn't need to be there. I don't need to know what's going to happen next. I don't need to know what's going to happen. I don't need to know the outcome of the match that's in the ring right now.
Yeah.
I'm just going to enjoy it. But if they're not giving me a good match, then they're not catching my attention. So it's,
things will fall into place where they may. It's just a matter of getting to where they need to be in order to make us feel invested.
So, yeah, we'll have to see what's next for MJF after next week with Mark Briscoe. Tag team title tournament is happening. They set up a tag team title eliminators tournament to determine the number one contenders for the tag team championships. Tournament started tonight. The Young Bucks took on the Outrunners. The Young Bucks ended up winning this match, becoming successful, and now they move on, and they wait until tomorrow night to find out who they're going to face in the second round.
Yep.
Phil, I'm going to say this right now. These eliminator tournaments are starting to just get too overzealous.
It's overdone.
Too overdone. I get they want to determine a number one contender, but do we have to go through a whole fucking tournament just to determine that?
It's lazy. It's just lazy. The thing is, and it's for Forbidden Door, which is basically, this is a bridging pay-per-view for me when it comes down to AEW and the overall product, and this tournament to crown number one contenders for the tag titles. It just screams filler to me with everything, because you take a look at the 8 tag teams in this thing. FTR and Jet Speed. FTR already advanced from last week. We're getting Bang Bang Gang versus Big Bill and Brian Keith. I believe that's happening on this Thursday's Collision, so tomorrow. Young Bucks and Outrunners, that took place tonight. I believe the Young Bucks won, if I'm correct, right?
What's that?
Yeah. Young Bucks won against the Outrunners.
They beat the Outrunners, yes. They opened
sense.
the show in that match, yeah.
And then you got the Gates of Agony versus Brodito, which is basically a random-ass pairing tag team between Brody King and Bandito. So, and that takes place tomorrow on Collision as well. So, they're doing the tournament throughout the weeks of this show for Dynamite and Collision to get the number one contenders. We're probably just going to get a final of FTR versus the Young Bucks. And I'm still going with FTR to win this thing, because I think, and I've said this over the course of the last couple of weeks, FTR versus Edge and Christian, or Cope and Christian, sorry, is the goal with this for All Out in Toronto. So it's just filler to me.
So we discussed this on, you just said that it's pretty much determined Young Bucks FTR in the finals. So it's like you feel like in your eyes, but so in your eyes and how you're feeling is they're already telling you this is who's going to be in our finals, and FTR ultimately winning. Why? Because FTR kind of started a program with the Hurt Syndicate weeks ago.
Yeah. That's
almost like what we talked, and not to get too far off with this, but we talked about something like this on Monday night in regards to the women's world title in WWE. They were basically saying, okay, Naomi's going to go into SummerSlam and win because they're setting things up with her and Stephanie, right? So going back to this, it's like they're kind of telling us, okay, FTR are telling you as a fan personally, FTR and the Young Bucks going to be in the finals. FTR is winning because they already started this program with the Hurt Syndicate weeks ago because they wanted to be number one contenders for the tag belts. So why even do this tournament? Why?
Right.
It's a waste of time.
Just go for it. Just go for FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate at that point.
Just get to the point.
Yeah.
Build the story.
No fluff needs to be needed here. And that's why I love the whole triple threat for the women's world title at SummerSlam anyway, because there was no fluff. They said, look,
build the story.
Take
the next couple weeks to build the story instead of having this long drawn out tournament to get to the end point. And then a week before, or a couple days before Forbidden Door, it's like they finally go face to face because FTR won the tournament. Like, build the story. Just say FTR is next in line, and then have a storyline. They got to get this, and it's being talked about in the chat right now that this tag team division is dead. They're not wrong.
No.
Because you're not doing anything with this.
Look at the state of the tag team division just based on this bracket alone. You're putting Bandito and Brody King as a tag team together for no reason.
Well, to be fair, I think Buddy has been out. Buddy's been out with an injury, hasn't he?
Buddy's been out with the ankles since Grand Slam Australia. So, I get that. But the thing is, there's a lot more stuff that Brody King can be doing on his own than just teaming with Bandito. And that's no disrespect to Bandito, because I overall like the guy. I think he's absolutely fantastic in the ring. But there's more that he can do on his own.
Yeah.
And,
Brody, not to kind of lull on Brody's character a little bit, but his character screams heel to me, and they're trying
Yeah.
to make him this beefed up baby face. And
I mean, people love him, but that
they
doesn't mean
but it's not working
he
for
has
me.
to be a babyface.
Yeah, it's not working for me. And
People like heels more anyway at times. Like people like still. It's a very gray area when people love the heels and hate the baby faces, and it's just, or love the baby faces. Brody King is a heel. Yeah.
Well, Phil, I think I have to 110% agree with you that FTR Young Bucks will be the finals. FTR wins, and we get Hurt Syndicate FTR at Forbidden Door. I don't see them going any other direction. Okay. Because the way the Young Bucks have been treated lately, I mean, not getting music, being introduced in like the shittiest way possible. Like, oh, your winners, the Young Bucks. Like no pep in that step. Like, okay, they lost their EVP. They lost their EVP ship.
Yeah.
So now we're just going to treat them like complete shit, but yet they're winning matches. What sense does that make?
When they showed FTR and the Young Bucks in the backstage area with Stokely and all of that, that to me just screamed, all right, well, obviously this is going to be the finals. I mean, they won like, and the thing is, the winner of this gets the shot at Forbidden Door. So this match isn't happening at Forbidden Door. Whoever wins, that match happens at Forbidden Door. So, I mean, look, it's filler to me. And the thing is, the tag team division could be a hell of a lot better. But with tag team tournaments like this, just to crown number one contenders instead of building an actual storyline for things, for the Hurt Syndicate, it just goes to show you that they don't care about tag team wrestling. And it's a shame.
Cam says that Brody is a tatted up dude, and tatted up fans can relate to that. I mean, I relate to it. I mean, for a person that has 44 tattoos, I can relate to it. But you're trying to make him an uber babyface, and for me personally, it's not working. Like his character just screams heel to me, and he should be. And that's where AEW kind of lacks a little bit, is the fact that he is a big man, and we know in history they don't do well with booking big men. They can book Brody to be this monster heel, just like Lance Archer can be booked as a monster heel going out there. I'm not necessarily saying put him in the world title match or put him in a championship scenario or anything like that. I'm just saying put them in a position to where they can have success as a heel and get heat on them. Get them to be that monster that everybody is fucking scared of. Wherever you go with them from there is on your decision as far as what you want to do with them. But my God, like you're trying to make them this baby face that I just feel like it does not fit.
I'm a fan of Brody King no matter what. So no matter what kind of babyface heel, whatever side of the spectrum he's gonna fall on, I'm gonna support him and I'm gonna want to see him succeed no matter what he does. But that doesn't mean you have to put him. That doesn't mean you have to put a square peg into a round hole.
Yeah. And Cam, I can agree with you. Like you want to kind of see what they can do on the mic, because Lance Archer, we know Lance Archer is good on the microphone.
Yeah.
He does not need he doesn't need a mouthpiece. He can talk on his own. Yeah. It's just the position he's put in to have a mouthpiece in Don Callis. He was put in that position. He was put in that position with Jake when he first came in. He doesn't need it, but Jake fit with him. Don Callis, that's yet to be really known, because we don't see.
I see Jake fit with him more for me.
Oh, Jake fit with him phenomenally.
Yeah.
Why they broke away from that, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it fit. I mean, through the pandemic when he first came in, it fit so perfectly. It did. But as far as Brody, I think. I mean, there's promos out there of Brody talking, and I think he can talk. It's just I don't know how well he can do as far as cutting promo on his own. And if I could see your point of he has to have a good mouthpiece in order to be a good heel, I can agree with that. But at the same time, sometimes good heels have good mouthpieces with them opposed to being a good mouthpiece. I mean, one example, Brock Lesnar, a badass heel.
Yeah.
Couldn't talk for shit. Then as he gets to the back end of his career, can talk, but Paul Heyman was his mouthpiece for 80% of his career. So I mean, but I can see your point, Cam. I can agree with
Here's-
you on that to a huge extent. As let's see how he could talk with becoming a big heel, but Brody still just screams big heel to me, opposed to being pushed as a big ass baby face.
when you're as big as somebody like Brody King or somebody like Brock Lesnar, the thing is, like, you don't need to talk. Just go out there and freaking fight. Just go out there and let the fighting do the talking for you.
I mean,
That's what Bobby Lashley should do.
Well, Bobby Lashley, like front end of his career, he didn't talk at all, and he was
Good.
the ECW champion, United States champion. Then he leaves wrestling, comes back after a couple years, and still doesn't really talk. Gets put with MVP. Like Bobby Lashley has through his career has not done much promo work.
He sounds like old milk anyway when it comes down to his side on the microphone, so he don't need to talk anyway. Whenever he talked, it's just not important for me. So he just needs to go out there and fight, just like any other big dude that doesn't really have the ability to talk. And Brody King, I've seen what he can do on the microphone. I know what he can do from like in terms of like the range that he can go, but he just needs to let the fight do the talking for him.
Well, we'll have to see who wins this tag team tournament. Again, I mean, it'd be something if Brody King and Bandito won.
I mean, that would be something different.
It'd be something different and new and unexpected. You know, but I'm kind of with you, FTR and the Young Bucks right now. I think I'm kind of with you. You kind of convinced me that FTR is winning this tag title tournament, but we'll have to see.
It's just for everything with FTR, Edge, and Christian. You know, it just screams me for Toronto.
I mean, speaking of Christian, he did make his return tonight. Had an interview with Tony Schiavone, and the first thing that came out of his mouth was, "My name is Christian, and I'm an asshole." And as far as speaking to Adam Copeland, I'll say this: a lot of people think Copeland and Christian are going to be this unit together and come together. After the things that he said about Adam Copeland tonight, you know, saying about he talked about his wife and his kids and his mother who passed away a few years back, you know, I think it's way too far from Copeland and Christian even getting back together. Now, Christian did get attacked going back up to the ramp afterwards by Nick Wayne and Mama Wayne and Kip Sabian.
Yep.
You know, so it seems like Christian is still going to have some issues to resolve with them. But as far as Copeland and Christian coming together anytime soon, I'll say this: I don't see it, but I have a feeling Phil's going to make the attempt to try and talk me into it. So your thoughts on this Christian promo?
We need Cope and Christian in the building for this to work.
I had a feeling you were going to start with that.
the thing, like, it's just got to be that way. Because the thing is, if you're just going to have Christian Cage be on his own against Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne, it's just not going to come off the way that it should in my eyes. And with everything that's happening right now, I mean, yeah, sure. You know, Christian Cage still has to go through the motions in order to get the matriarchy, because that's what I'm just calling them from now on, until something better comes along. Until they're in his rearview mirror, they're going to continue on with this feud. And maybe it is Edge. I keep calling him Edge. You guys know what I mean.
Just call him Edge.
Just keep calling
That's
him Edge.
fine. People still call him Edge without calling him Copeland. So
yeah. Maybe it is him that just continues to just. He's gonna have to be the last call.
By him, you mean Edge?
Yes.
There, now I did it.
Yeah, there you go. Now
I'm just trying to make you feel comfortable with being okay with saying
Edge. Yeah,
he's Edge. He's Adam Copeland. He's Cope.
That's what I've always called him as people. Okay?
So there. Now I did it just to try and make you feel comfortable.
He's gonna be the final call for Christian Cage with everything, because obviously it's a 2-on-1 assault right now. Because Mama ain't gonna do anything in terms of like getting active and physical, so for the next 4 weeks or however long we're going to have until Forbidden Door, maybe it's Cope and Christian versus the matriarchy at Forbidden Door, and that's where we're going to really see if this is going to work. Because we need these two in the same building for this to work. Or
Yeah.
at least to see where things are going with this. Because if we don't see them in the same building, or at least in the same atmosphere, we don't know, technically, if this is truly going to be the end-all, be-all of getting Cope and Christian back together. I just think that is possibly going to happen because of everything that happens for All Out in Toronto. So, I mean, that's... fantasy booking aside, Cope has to be in the building.
I just feel like it's too far beyond of them coming together because Christian has his own problems, Copeland has his own problems, and I don't see those problems intersecting with each other to bring them together.
It's going to take a lot for convincing to get people involved.
Now, could it happen? Yes, it could happen. We can end up seeing, Nick Wayne and Kip Sabian come together with FTR and they can end up attacking both guys at separate times. And then at some point, both guys end up, being in the ring together, taking care of each other. And then they come together. Who knows? Could it happen? Yes. Have we ever seen it happen? Yes, we've seen it. But right now, how it feels is two separate situations, feels too far apart. And at the drop of a dime, anything can come together. Am I for Copeland and Christian? Now, am I for Copeland and Christian getting back together? You guys are going to fucking hate me, but no.
No, yeah.
I'm not. Here's the thing is they're a very historic tag team. We know what they've done in the past, and then they broke apart, went their own separate ways. It's been well over 20 years since they've been together and tagged together, anything like that. I still feel like Christian, even though he is a former world champion, hasn't had like that massive spotlight that he could have. I'm not going to sit here and say he deserves it, but I think Christian could have a massive spotlight and have a success on it. Because if you look at Christian's history since being back, basically, he's always been tied up with somebody. Like his AEW run, he wasn't alone long. He was always teaming with somebody, always doing something with somebody. He had a very short period of time to where he was alone. Christian needs to have that spotlight kind of on his own. And in a big way. Copeland's had it.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see Christian have it.
There's nothing else for Adam Copeland to do at this point in terms of like singles, like he's been there, done that. He has had the mountain on his back. But in terms of me with Christian Cage, I mean, I kind of disagree in a sense because at the end of the day, ever since he showed up in AEW and it's kind of turned this new leaf of being this heel character, I get the whole father thing and the whole dad's thing was kind of like,
that was
it was overkill at times.
Yeah, that was super overkill at times.
It was definitely overkill at times, but it changed to me the trajectory of his career and what I ultimately thought of him in my time of watching him as a pro wrestling fan. Like him as this heel in AEW, like it completely changed my mind on how Christian Cage was from when I started watching to who he is now. I mean, this heel character for him in AEW to me has been easily some of the best work he has ever done, period. And whether it's kind of gone on for far too long in terms of like the father stuff, I can agree with you on that. Like I'll agree with you on that in the sense of like, something new needs to be done. So just like, oh God, your father is dead.
So Cam
said,
said,
enjoyable to me.
Cam said if the Hardys get one last run, then Cope and Christian need that last run too. Here's my thought on that: is when you look at the Hardy Boys, okay. When you look at
nostalgia pop for you with this,
when you look at, are you asking me that?
Yeah.
What if what's a nostalgia pop?
Like
If Copeland and Christian
if Copeland
are?
and Christian get back together, is that just a nostalgia pop for AEW?
No, I wouldn't call it that.
Okay.
I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. I would not deem it that at all.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't put. I would not put that over their heads.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't. But here's the thing: is when you look at the Hardys, okay, when Jeff was a world champion, okay, how much success did he have as a world champion on his own? He had more success as a secondary Intercontinental United States whatever champion than he did as a world champion.
Jeff was never a long-term world champion for the
I'm
company.
not saying that he had bad matches. He had good matches, okay?
Yeah.
But didn't have those long world title reigns that people look for. Now, when he was in TNA, did he? Yeah. TNA, he had a pretty decent run as a world champion. Okay.
Yeah.
Matt Hardy, the only world title that he really reached the pinnacle of was, I mean, I believe he was a TNA champion, but he was also the ECW champion.
I was going to say the WWE ECW champion, like that gray eagle ECW title belt.
So then you go over to Copeland and Christian. I mean, Adam Copeland screamed world champion
tenfold. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say from the beginning. I would not say from the beginning. But as the years went on, he screamed world champion.
As he evolved,
did.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when he went out with his injury, everybody expected Christian to get to that, to kind of fill the void of Copeland being gone. Edge.
Or at least now we can see him in that spot if WWE wants to get there.
So instead of having Christian fill the void because Copeland Edge was out, now Christian can have that spotlight because it's Christian, not because Edge went out.
Yeah.
Because if you go back and look in the history, Christian did fill in for Edge in a world title match because Edge was out.
Yeah.
So he filled in. That's just the in the history of fact. I would want Christian to be at that pinnacle because he got there with his character and who he is, not filling in because Edge Copeland got hurt, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying the Hardys were not successful on their own. I'm not saying, I mean, Jeff was a little more successful than Matt.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff was a little more successful than
that.
Matt. Just like Edge Copeland was more successful than Christian. But Matt Hardy also had somewhat of that opportunity to have that spotlight over him. Yeah, it was in TNA, and TNA was kind of falling in a sense. But he also tried to carry the reins of ECW when it was WWE ECW.
Yeah.
So Matt Hardy could also be in that realm of, you know, trying to get that one last big spotlight thing. You know,
Matt Hardy is a very underrated wrestler enough as it is in terms of like what he has done for the business outside of everything with his brother. So like I completely just obviously I respect the Hardys as a whole and everything, but like as a solo act, Matt Hardy, he's done a lot more than people think, and people don't give him the credit as much as I possibly believe.
His was bigger as far as character evolvement.
Yes.
He's
very good at evolving when he needs to.
Back on the Edge and Christian thing, would I put it as a nostalgia thing? No, I wouldn't put that over their heads. I wouldn't.
It was just a question I had. You know, I didn't.
No, I wouldn't deem it as a nostalgia thing. You know, AEW has to do it because to get that nostalgia of WWE not doing it anymore. Yada yada. No, nope, no.
Oh, I wasn't thinking about WWE sense. I was just, you know.
But I'm just
overall sense of Edge and Christian getting back.
I no, and I'm just covering that base. That's why I said that. I wouldn't put that nostalgia title over them at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I need to see Christian kind of get that. The bottom line is I'm just not. I wouldn't be a fan of them. I mean, I guess I would have to see what they would do back together. That's all.
I feel like it needed a longer road than what we're getting. Because I feel like it's a little bit more rushed than what I feel like it really could have gotten to.
Yeah.
Like if you actually build upon this like months of storytelling, like to get them back together, that's one thing. Because like you can actually try to build this thing up. We're trying to do this in 7 weeks max.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that's not enough time.
No.
But I get it 100% where you're coming from.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, FTR and Kip Sabian and Nick Wayne, if they somehow came together and then they brought these two together by some force, maybe. But me
That
personally, I
was
just don't want to.
good, by the way. I'll tell you that right now.
I'm not right now. I wouldn't be looking forward to Copeland and Christian getting back together. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. Athena.
Yes.
Athena pinned Toni Storm tonight. She pinned the women's world champion. Okay. I'm going to say that one more time. Athena, who is holding the contract for a shot at the women's world title basically at any given time of her choice, pinned the world champion tonight.
I would have just said, screw it. I'm cashing in. I already pinned you.
The question is why didn't she? Like, why didn't she just cash in? Toni Storm was literally laying right there, and you're waving the contract over her face while she's laying there knocked out. Why did you not just hand the contract in and say, hey, perfect opportunity? Yeah. Perfect opportunity. But instead she stood there and just kind of, woohoo, like, I have this contract and I'm coming for your world title. You could have became a double world champion tonight, and you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But your thoughts on Athena pinning the women's world champion tonight?
I mean, we got time before she cashes in that contract, and we have no idea when it's going to happen. But seeing Toni Storm get pinned was a choice. I'll say that. Look, and here's the thing, guys, I love Athena. I do. And I'm glad she's at least getting this opportunity of being in the world title picture and at least being on an episode of Dynamite. Because for God knows how long I have been wanting her on AEW programming. It's just a strange choice to me, seeing the world champion get pinned. And the thing is, like, I'm kind of a stickler when it comes down to that. I do not like seeing world champions get pinned unless you're putting the challenger over in a title match itself. But I mean, you're building to stuff. So, like I said earlier, I'm just letting things go and seeing where they fall in terms of how the story progresses.
Cam said because she ain't winning the title when she does cash in, so they are dragging this out for dramatic effect. And I can see that.
I can see that 100%.
I can see it.
I think that's a terrible choice.
I mean, yeah, I can see it. I could see them doing it just for the dramatic effect to carry on the story of Athena holding the contract and saying, hey, I can cash this in right. She could pretty much say, hey, I can cash this in right now, and you can't do a fucking thing about it. So
in order for her
I'm not going to do it tonight.
She needs to lose that Ring of Honor World title from me, and before I even think about her cashing anything in. And that needs to be to Billy Starks. I'm sorry. But I've said that for months, even years at this point, since they've been paired together. This needs to be the Billy Starks that she loses that title to. And that's just as far as I go with Ring of Honor.
I mean, again, like we said at the top of the show, basically towards the beginning of the show, is the way they're building their stories right now. It's a good thing that they're kind of keeping us guessing to what they're doing, because we don't need to know the outcome. We don't need to know what they're going to do before it happens, anything like that. But the question is going to be, if this contract thing ends up being longer than 3 months, that the question is going to be out there of when the hell is she going to cash this in?
Yeah.
That's when the questions are going to start coming out, when we get to like the 3-month mark of her holding that contract. And that's going to be
past All Out, then I'll question things a lot for me.
Really? September?
Yeah, honestly. Because I just have my mind on because with everything that's happening with I have my mind solely set on the Ring of Honor World Championship because they're plastering it right in front of my face.
Okay.
And the thing is, to me, the next Ring of Honor show is the day before All Out. And I'm just saying, if we're going to take this championship off of Athena, that way she can solely focus on the AEW Women's World title. Because I want Athena to cash this thing in successfully to become the champion. I do.
What? Death before Dishonors before All Out?
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Yeah.
Huh?
It's the day before. So,
Cam says it'll be someone ridiculous like Deonna Purrazzo. A lot of outcomes are obvious. I mean, come on. A lot of this stuff is just common sense. It is. I mean,
I agree, but
I agree. At the same time, it's just one. I guess wanting to be
successfully.
I guess just wanting to have that surprise element is a craving at this point, because. Again, and Cam, we've had many discussions about this, about the whole element of surprise and not always being in the know and all that stuff. You know, like I said, you know, back in the early 2000s, you know, when the internet was first coming out, we like, if we knew something was happening backstage, like it was like, oh my God, but now it's just way too much.
Yeah.
You know, but if they carry out this Athena holding the contract longer than 3 months, you know the internet is going to blow up of when the fuck is she going to cash this thing in? Just like MJF. If MJF holds this contract longer than 3 months, it's going to be, when is he cashing in? Is he going to cash in? And the other thing is too is, you know, or if they start doing like teasers of it happening. Because with Christian, we got 2 teasers from him, and that was it. We didn't get many teasers with him holding that contract. You know, so I agree they play things too safe. It's the same thing WWE. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It is, I don't know.
I'm sorry. I got the dates wrong with Death Before Dishonors.
I was kind of questionable on that, because Death Before Dishonors in Philly, and then All Out is in I forget where All Out is, but anyways,
it's in Toronto.
So
it's a few weeks before. Death Before Dishonor is on the 5th, and then All Out's the 20th.
Yeah,
so it's like
2 weeks
before. 2 weeks. Yeah,
2 weeks. Yeah, 15 days. But well, I mean, we'll have to see what happens with these contracts. We'll have to see what happens with anything that moves forward, because right now AEW kind of in a hole when it comes to their storylines. You know, they kind of hit that reset button after All In.
Yeah,
they kind of did.
It's a reset. You know, after everything that happened with the world title, AEW has to reset basically everything and see where things go.
They did deem All In as their biggest event of the year. It's almost like their WrestleMania. So what do we get after WrestleMania? We sometimes see a reset happen. So
it's basically a new calendar year for AEW.
It makes sense, and it's almost like we're going to start new. We're going to be starting new storylines and all. It's just all about getting the storylines going. So pretty much everything that is happening right now in AEW from last week, this week, and possibly next week is going to be big questions of why, instead of what we fully like. We could sit here today and say what we fully think may happen or is going to happen or anything like that. But it's ultimately of why did this happen right now, when we'll probably get our answer in like 2 or 3 weeks, because this is the start of a new storyline.
Yeah. We just gotta wait and see what happens and see where the cards lie. And I mean, that's not always a bad thing. And predictability is not always a bad thing when it comes down to like storylines and all that. But you can't. I gotta keep my over analytical mind away for a second and just let's watch as a fan and continue where the things go.
Cam, he did, and I tried to say don't put that out in the atmosphere, and you just had to.
What did I do?
No, Cam.
Wrong?
He said right after All In, the show after All In, we came on here, and he said that we're going to get a rematch between Hangman and Mox, and I said please don't put that out in the
and that happened.
unless it's a exploding barbed wire match. Please don't put that out, and then we fucking get it 2 weeks later. You know. But I mean, Hangman retained tonight. Overall, not a bad show tonight, but it wasn't the best. You know, it felt like AEW is just really starting to get that engine running again with the reset of storylines and getting us to see something hopefully new. And then there's some storylines that are continuing. You know, like MJF and the Hurt Syndicate, you know. So I guess the next couple weeks we're just gonna have to see what transpires from some of these storylines and see what transpires from everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
You know, but overall, I mean, not a terrible show tonight, given to what we got. But my biggest takeaway is why the fuck was your world title not the main event?
Yeah,
that was my biggest dispute.
That's literally the only like huge question I had coming out of the show.
Yeah,
I understand to some like no, I mean I don't understand why it's not in the main event. That's like I'll say that, but like I mean, you know, from time to time in terms of like how many people are dialed into the show. Normally, the middle of the show for AEW for some reason is like the big focal point that everybody focuses on and like tries to like tune in at like this specific moment. And to be completely honest, that's exactly where they put the world title match. So like people were solely focused on this world title match, and that's a good thing because people want to see where Hangman goes with this world title, but when you have everything and you reset everything with the world title, you gotta have this be the sole focus of your show, and the way you have that be the sole focus of the show is in the main event.
I mean, the other thing is too is they kind of gave this match a big match feel. They gave it its own. You know, when you looked at the mark, like the graphic for the match, it had its own special graphic.
Yeah.
They give you that big promo video at the beginning of the show of their history on after like Hangman getting to the world title, then winning the world title, and now where we're at getting into this match tonight. Like, why didn't you just do that throughout the night? Like in hour one or at the top of the show how Hangman in a small video package get to the world title. And then in the beginning of hour two, show a video package on him winning the world title at All In. And then we get the main event at the end of the show. Instead, it was, let's show this big ass video package at the beginning of the show. That was like a 5-minute video package.
Yeah.
And then we get the match in the middle of the show. And I kind of had a little bit of a beef with the fact that this match was not the main event. I mean, it's not a match that I wanted to begin with, but it is what it is. We got it. It's done. It was to get Hangman a defense, to get Jon Moxley a rematch, and to get past the whole like build of getting to a rematch, because realistically the blow off was 3 weeks ago at All In. So, you know,
I much rather would have liked to see that in the main event than just a rematch from Double or Nothing with Ricochet and Mark Briscoe.
I agree.
I'm sorry, but I mean, it's Double or Nothing. We've seen it. We've gone through it, and yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, guys. We're gonna get the hell out of here. That's all we got for tonight. Cam taking the night off, taking some time to himself. So his social media is on the bottom. Go check out his Cam's Wrestling Corner videos over on TikTok. They are great videos. You don't want to miss it. And I don't just say that because normally he's digitally sitting next to me here. I'm saying that because they are great videos. Go check them out. Hit that follow button and check out everything he's doing over on social media. Fill your socials on the bottom. What do you want to let the people know heading into SummerSlam weekend?
TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Twitch, everything right there. PhillyMet _. Type it in on Google. You'll find me, I promise. Tomorrow, you guys will be seeing my full-fledged SummerSlam predictions video. It's about a half hour long, so you guys are going to want to get a snack for it. But I go in depth and I talk about everything when it comes down to the 2 nights of SummerSlam, and it's going to be a very, very fun weekend. You'll also be getting a vlog from me and a review of SummerSlam on the channel as well. So I'm going to be tired throughout the weekend, but it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun. And if you guys see me in New Jersey / New York area, wherever you guys are for MetLife Stadium and SummerSlam, come up, say hi. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to watch SummerSlam, and it's going to be a great weekend. But yeah, stay tuned to all the social medias, and you'll be able to find me at some point throughout this weekend. So stay tuned.
Our favorite radio show that I cannot name on here because we can't do any free shout outs is going to be doing a block party
Yes.
And I really wish I had off Saturday to go to the block party. I
might check it out.
Go.
I know exactly where it is.
Oh my God, if you go, I am so freaking jealous, but at the same time, so happy for you. And I wish I could be there. But I'll be watching SummerSlam on Saturday, but I won't be watching until the replay because I'm going to a concert that night. And then Sunday, I'm supposed to be going to the beach. Those plans may be changing due to personal reasons, but SummerSlam I will be watching live on Sunday. So
I'll be listening to that radio station the entire way over there on Fridays. So, I mean, it's just a great time.
PWN 24/7. That's right.
Getting Sirius XM was like the best thing I ever could have possibly done.
super affordable too. $6 a month. Not bad.
Yeah.
My socials on the bottom: Instagram, X, TikTok, Snapchat, Twitch, Metal Mike 714 is where you can find me. As of right now, I'm off on Sundays for the Huddle Hub. The Huddle Hub is over on twitch.tv/Huddle Podcast and over on YouTube at the Huddle Hub Pod. We usually go live every Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Is there a possibility we might be live this Sunday? Maybe, depending on how my plans go. Not sure yet. But other than that, be live on Monday after Monday Night Raw for the table spot to talk SummerSlam, to talk Monday Night Raw, and everything that happened over the weekend for WWE. And then we will be back next Wednesday for the Boom for another episode after AEW Dynamite. So please, if you want to, go follow me on socials at Metal Mike 714. If not, it's cool. I understand. With that being said, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. Be good to each other. Be kind to each other. Take care of each other. Be patient with each other. Remember, the world is not moving as fast as you think. Until next time, have a great weekend, everybody. Deuces.
Yeah.